says they don't make many mistakes. They don't beat themselves. They hang around and find ways to win. Example against Georgia earlier in the season. They were trailing 9-7. Phil Petty led them on a great drive, hit Brian Scott for the winning touchdown. 3 weeks later against Alabama, they took their first lead with 2 minutes left in the ball game. Phil Petty again engineering the touchdown drive. And the more this team wins, the tougher they are to beat because they do believe.
Well, and that gives Arkansas a real opportunity today. They come in with a 2-3 record, but this game has real significance for them.
It's the most pivotal game of the season because it's the midway point. If they win today, they can even their record at 3-3. Then they get a week off, and they've got 5 games left, 3 of them at home. But the key is if they can beat a number 9 ranked team here, it would really give them a lot of momentum going to the rest of the season.
And we're set to go. Arkansas will receive to open the game. South Carolina will kick off. Carolina won the toss and deferred. Lawrence Richardson, Marvin Jackson are the 2 deep men. And this one squibbed and taken by Richardson at the 9-yard line. He opened the game last week against Weber State with a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. This time he is stuffed as he gets out to the 27-yard line. Well, we may have dodged one today. It rained heavily overnight and on through the middle of the morning. But for the moment, it's dry. There's a chance of showers, but the temperature very comfortable, 65 degrees. Humidity is 87%, and a slight wind at the moment. Now, Zach Clark is in at quarterback. For the 3rd successive game, the handoff left side goes to Fred Talley. And the junior tailback out to the 29-yard line, a gain of a couple. Zach Clark from Fayetteville opened the season as the starter, did not play well against UNLV, gave way to Ryan Sorahan, but then after Sorahan suffered a bruised back against Alabama, Clark got the start his job back.
And he's played pretty well here the last couple games. Played pretty good against Georgia. Last week led him to a win against Weber State, and he needs to play very well today.
Here's the first pass of the day. And it is complete to George Wilson, number 88. That's going to move the chains. Let's check this Arkansas offense. And they have had difficulty moving the ball. Offensive line, it's Money, White, Sandlin, Bokerman, and Sean Andrews, a true freshman. Wilson in the backfield, Talley and Pierce. Richard Smith, the other wideout, and the tight end is Nathan Ball.
Vern, that first completion, so huge for a quarterback trying to get a rhythm, an offense that's struggling. Making that first completion can be big.
On 1st down and 10, Talley tries to dodge to the right side. Good defensive play by Andre Goodman, number 35, the cornerback, to come up and make the tackle. And the defense for South Carolina, a 3-3-5 defense. Stamper, Moore, and Gauze up front. Edwards, Lemon, Harney, Kalimba Edwards, a preseason All-America. And the defensive backs, Rashad Faison having a terrific year. Offord, Neesmith, Goodman, and Sheldon Brown. Pierce and Talley in the I formation on 2nd down. Draw play. Talley. Rashad Faison, number 11, after what looked to be a 3-yard gain. And Fred Talley, who had his season disrupted last year with a torn ACL, off-season spent in rehab. For the season now, 236 yards coming in today.
Had 135 last week against Weber State. The first time in Arkansas back this year has gone over 100. So glimpses of promise and improvement from that offense the last 2 weeks.
Stephen Harris comes on as a 3rd wide receiver. He's the inside man wide to the left. That one knocked down in the line. John Stamper, number 91, got up to make the block.
A lot of times, if you're only going to rush 3, these guys aren't going to get to the quarterback and sack him, but all they can do is get across the line and read the quarterback. Don't get cut and get your hands up and knock the ball down. 3-man rush, just as effective as a sack.
Stamper knocks it down. Richie Butler on to punt on 4th down, and 2 men are deep for South Carolina. Brewer and Chavez Donnings, and this is going to be Brewer who grabs it at the 14, tries to get out of the tackle, and scrapes forward to the 15-yard line. A 39-yard punt, 1 yard on the return. Ahmad Carroll, number 8, to make the tackle on Ryan Brewer. Gamecocks have the ball when we come back. South Carolina with the ball for the first time. 1st and 10. They go with 4 wideouts, and they will go from the spread formation. Arkansas counters with 5 defensive backs, and Phil Petty, the quarterback, changing the call.
And you see he's calling each individual lineman. He's trying to communicate. He knows the play clock is down to 5. A mature leader of this team.
And they'll run it out of the shotgun, but not very far. Kurt Davis makes the tackle. And Jermaine Petty was there to put the stop on Phil Petty. 62%, no interceptions.
Yeah, that was the one area that Lou Holtz really wanted him to work on this year. He was through 10 interceptions last year. So far, 0, and the only guy in the SEC, the starting quarterbacks, that can say that.
2nd down and 9. Blitz. Petty on the roll. Good downfield coverage as well. He launches it deep over the head of Ahmad Carroll. Incomplete. Carroll, the defensive back for Arkansas. Now let's check this South Carolina offense. The offensive line: Hall, Cedric Williams, Larrell Johnson, Kevin Rivers, and Melvin Page. It is a makeshift line because of injuries. Watson and Pinnock in the backfield. Trafford, the tight end. Ryan Brewer and Brian Scout, 2 of 4 wideouts.
Vern, I think John Thompson, the defensive coordinator of Arkansas, his plan when Phil Petty's in the game, he is going to attack. He's going to try to bring pressure because Phil Petty is not a running threat at the quarterback position.
3rd and 9. 5-man rush. Petty, they got him. Got him good. Yeah. Caleb Miller, number 43, led the charge.
See, Vern, Phil Petty is a stand in the pocket, throw the football, read the defense guy. And they know this. Arkansas is going to bring both these guys. They're going to outnumber South Carolina coming from the left side. They're going to get there, and they're going to get a sack early in the ball game.
Tyler Dean booms one. My goodness. Over the shoulder catch at the 29-yard line by Marvin Jackson. A 66-yard punt for a man referred to by Lou Holtz as very erratic.
He doesn't like 2.5-step punters, but that one I think he'll take.
Tyler Dean given credit for a 67-yard punt officially. And it's 1st down 10 Arkansas. Ball at the 42. Draw play, Talley. And he goes over left guard. Fumble. The ball had been whistled dead.
Yep.
And down.
Jonathan Martin doesn't know that yet. He's running off the field celebrating. But the head linesman called it down. And Fred Talley needs to just kind of catalog that and realize that if he's trying to push the pile, he better protect the football.
This Gamecock squad +8 in turnovers through 5 games. Now Matt Jones is in at quarterback. He's a freshman, and he can run like a deer. Option. He had a 59-yarder last week against Weber State, but he gets 1 this time. And let's check in with Jill Arrington.
Well, Vern, as you know, Coach Holtz is known as a master rebuilder of college football programs, and he says there are 4 stages to winning. Now, the first stage is you've got to learn and know how to compete. It's all about being competitive in the SEC. The second stage is learn how to win. You've got to be consistent week after week. The third stage, learn how to handle winning. That's be a team no matter what. And the fourth stage, which is the stage he thinks the Gamecocks are in, is going to the championship level. And that's all about not being satisfied at 5-0, and he says they're still hungry for a win.
All right, Jill, thank you. Petty back in. Jones stays on the field. They drill it to Matt Jones. First down inside the 40-yard line.
And this shows you a little bit of the versatility of Matt Jones. He's a young freshman, but he's 6'5", 215 pounds. He's just going to run the in route here against man-to-man coverage. He plays quarterback as a running threat, and you see him separate from the coverage and make a huge catch on third down. This is a very talented youngster who Houston Nutt says we've got to find ways to get the football in his hands.
This is the third game in which he has played. That is his first catch. It was good for a gain of 17. Talley bounces off a tackle, and with the second effort gets down to the 32-yard line.
And did you see South Carolina going for the football there, Vern? They're trying to rip the football out of Fred Talley's hands. He already coughed it up once. Watch South Carolina attack Fred Talley when he gets the football. This is why he gets extra yards, because they go for the ball and not the tackle, and he's able to slip off and go forward for some more yards. But he must protect the football.
Second down and 5. No score. Early moments of the ball game. Talley again. He's got a hole, and he protected the ball well that time. Very conscious of South Carolina's attempt to strip him of it. Kalimba Edwards and Jermaine Lemon collaborate for the stop.
Nice little offensive rhythm right now for Arkansas, Vern. I mean, this team has struggled. I mean, last week they gained 451 yards against 1AA Weber State, and that elevated them from 115th in the nation in total offense to 110. So they made a big jump last week against a weaker opponent, but so far they've done some nice things today in the ball game.
And Lou Heltz telling us on Wednesday that his third down defense has been awful. They've given up 44% of third down plays. It's 3rd and 1 here.
45.
Yep.
Nice job by Zach Clark, going with a longer count, using the hard snap count with his voice, and drawing Langston Moore, the nose guard, off sides.
Call the snap, defense, offside, contact, 5-yard penalty. It will be a first down.
I mean, here's Langston Moore, the nose guard. His nose is right by the football, but he's listening to the quarterback instead of watching the football, and gets drawn offside.
57 on 57. And here are the rushing stats per game.
Yeah, numbers down, but off to a good start today.
Talley on first down and 10, and you can just see the pile begin to move to the right. Willie Offord makes the tackle. Now let's get an update. Go back to New York. Here's Tim Brendo.
Vernon Todd, Eli's coming. Ole Miss's Eli Manning to Joe Gunn with under a minute to play. Gives the Rebels the lead over Alabama. Bama still has plenty of timeouts remaining and 46 seconds on the clock. Back to you.
Wow.
Yes, wow.
Eli Manning is having a great first season as the starting quarterback at Ole Miss.
Second down and 7 at the 20. Draw play. Talley, big hole to the 11-yard line.
Well, credit this Arkansas offensive line. They are really getting after South Carolina right now. Watch Mark Bokerman, the guard. Watch the block right here by 71. The fullback gets a nice block. And Fred Talley, with very good vision, finding some good running seams. Nice block by Bokerman, pierced the fullback, and a good run for Fred Talley. But the offensive line right now of Arkansas playing extremely well.
Talley with 34 yards on 8 carries. On first down and 10, he'll get it again. Good pursuit that time by Kenny Harney, number 44, linebacker who made the tackle.
That time, Charlie Strong decided to run blitz. He was anticipating run. He brought more people around the ball than they could block. There's Charlie right there. He said his defense is getting better, not as good as they were last year, and I think the big reason is because they lost 2 great defensive tackles last year. Cleveland Pinckney and Cecil Caldwell really anchored that defense inside, and they're just not as strong right now up front. Teams have been able to run the ball on them a lot better than they were a year ago.
Just under 6 minutes to go in the first half. And time has been called by Arkansas. We'll return to War Memorial Stadium after this. .549 to go first quarter of play, and Matt Jones The freshman from Fort Smith is in at quarterback. Runs the option, and boy, they're ready for it.
Yeah.
That's 2 times now without success.
Well, I think Houston Nutt thought he might surprise South Carolina with a little running package with Matt Jones, but South Carolina very well prepared. Now, Matt Jones had a 59-yard touchdown last week against Weber State. Yep. Zach saying, you run it on 2nd down, I'll throw it on 3rd down. And so far, those 2 2nd down plays have not been very effective for Arkansas. They have not fooled South Carolina.
Red zone defense this season. They have given up 7 touchdowns at 16 tries inside the 20. Here comes the rush, and there's the inside pass. It is complete to Richard Smith, but that will be short of the 1st down. John Stamper and Langston Moore there for Lou Holtz. And Brendan O'Donohoe is going to come on. He's perfect this season, a perfect 5 of 5.
You mentioned the problem South Carolina's been having on 3rd down defense. That was a huge stop right there, because a touchdown right now by Arkansas would have done wonders for them. As it is, they stand to still be on the scoreboard first.
From the right hash mark, O'Donohoe from 21 yards out, and he maintains his unblemished string for the season. Arkansas on the scoreboard first, up by 3. Arkansas on top 3-0 after the 54-yard drive. David Carlton, a freshman, will kick off now for the Razorbacks. And the deep men, Ryan Brewer and Derek Watson. Watson wearing number 22.
Watson leads the SEC in kickoff return, so they better be careful with him.
It will be taken by Watson at the 4. He's got some room. Popped and dropped at the 32-yard line. Jameer Gallen makes the tackle. Well, we invite you to join us for an NFL doubleheader tomorrow. Most of you will see Baltimore, Green Bay in the first game, or Pittsburgh, Kansas City, San Diego, New England, and Cleveland, Cincinnati. And in the nightcap, Miami goes into New York to take on the Jets, and the Broncos out west to take on Seattle. It all begins with the NFL today at 12 noon Eastern time tomorrow on CBS. 1st down and 10. Phil Petty out of the gun. Fires into the right flat, and it's caught by Corey Alexander, and a flag is dropped at the spot of the tackle.
I think this is going to be a late face mask and a bad penalty for Arkansas, because they defended that play perfectly, and just trying to get the carrier down to the ground, I think Tony Bua got a hold of the face mask.
Tony Bua, number 22.
Take a look. I mean, they had it hemmed in perfectly, and there you see the left hand of Bua just grabbing the face mask, and an unfortunate penalty for the Hogs.
Now, Bua, one of 4 defenders who sat out last week's game over Weber State because of injuries. Here is the lineup. It's Hall, Brooks, Davis, and House. In the middle, Jermaine Petty has led the SEC in tackles the last 3 weeks. And Richardson, Harris, Hamlin, and Jackson in the secondary.
And I think, Vern, that Carlos Hall, this guy right here, has to have a huge game today for Arkansas.
Well, good call. And Carlos Hall comes from his right end spot and makes the tackle. Alabama, Ole Miss. Let's get an update. Once again, here's Tim.
All right, fellas. Ole Miss breaks Alabama's 10-game win streak against them as Lanier Gothi gets his first career interception to close it out in a quagmire in Oxford. Alabama gets Tennessee next week. Ole Miss making noise in the SEC West. Who's going to finish last may be the toughest question.
And Auburn, of course, has a big game tonight against Florida. Here is Brewer going around the right side. Close for the 1st down.
The old full house backfield there on a short yardage play. That's kind of the one remnants of Lou Holtz's Notre Dame-like team. You see the total yards so far. South Carolina only -2, but they got a good 1st down run that time. And I really like Ryan Brewer, Vern, and he reminds me a lot of Robert Gillespie of Florida, not in style, but in substance. And that is, he lines up in a lot of different places, but he always makes plays.
1st down and 10 after the Brewer run. And South Carolina goes with a 4 wideout set here. Arkansas is coming with 4, and the pass a little bit behind the intended receiver, Corey Alexander. Well, Ryan Brewer, Derek Watson suspended for the Outback Bowl a year ago in January, and Brewer torched Ohio State after he replaced Watson, rushing 19 times for 109 yards. He also caught 3 passes for 92, scored 3 times, and was named the MVP of the Outback Bowl. South Carolina won it. This is a young man from Troy, Ohio, who was not recruited by Ohio State.
Extra sweet. Says his favorite player is Chris Spielman, the great linebacker for Ohio State.
2nd and 10, Carolina. Quarterback draw, Petty picks up 6, and Carlos Hall, number 55, made the tackle. Carlos Hall, a man of enormous potential, but that's probably the key word.
Well, he just has not exploded the way that they expect him to with his talent. I mean, he's got great speed. Here he is right here. Great speed, size, strength. Sometimes he just tries to read a little bit too much, and he doesn't play as hard as he could, but he sat out last week with an ankle sprain. He needs to play very well today for Arkansas.
3rd and 5. 5 wideouts. Petty chased, throws it away. That'll be intentional grounding. He was not outside the tackle box.
And it was Carlos Hall that got there. They said he had a great week of practice this week. He didn't play last week. He came out ready to play today, and so far he's off to a good start. Beats his man and gets to the quarterback, Phil Petty, and forces the throw.
For all of his acclaim, Carlos Hall with only 14 tackles for the season coming in. So this is a very significant start for him and for Arkansas.
He's the kind of guy that when the pro scouts come into Arkansas, they drool over the guy. They love what he looks like.
Against the offense. It's a spot foul, also a loss of down, 4th down.
Rocky Good, our referee. And that brings on Tyler Dean, who pumped one out 67 yards last time. Marvin Jackson has pitched his tent at the 11-yard line, awaiting the punt. And there's the erratic nature of Tyler Dean. This one's short. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage. The ball touched at the 18 by South Carolina. This one might come back.
Well, do you take a chance and see if he booms another one, make him kick it again? I think if he hasn't been consistent, you make him kick it again. Plus, you give your guy, Marvin Jackson, a chance to get his hands on the football. He's already got a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Now, that is the decision of the Razorbacks. They will let Tyler Dean try it again.
The one thing that I saw South Carolina do in practice when they were practicing their punt team was they were trying to quick snap it. They're trying to get lined up right away and snap it as quickly as possible, not allowing Arkansas to maybe get off the blocks quick enough. See if they try that here. As soon as that referee moves away from the ball, see how quick they snap it.
Oh, he boomed it way up in the air. Fair catch called by Jackson. So it's even Steven. The ball will be taken at the 18-yard line, exactly where it was touched on the previous punt. Tonight on CBS, critics call Citizen Baines masterful. Viewers who find it won't regret it. From the executive producer of ER and The West Wing comes an all-new episode of Citizen Baines. That's tonight on CBS.
You know, we showed you that stat earlier in the ball game about South Carolina leading the conference in turnover ratio at +8. That is such a critical statistic.
1st down and 10. And Talley is the lone setback. He gets the handoff and runs right into Rashad Faison. Oh, boy, what a nice job Faison did of fighting off the block and being in perfect position. And once again, let's go back to New York. Here's an update from Kim Brandon.
Vern, one of the more quiet, unbeaten teams is BYU, and right now New Mexico has the lead. Gerard Baxter takes it in from a yard out in Albuquerque, and Luke Staley not playing. They're checking for some possible NCAA violations. Could be tough on Gary Croton today.
Now Matt Jones back on the field and goes as a wide out wide to the left side. Second down. Deep right side. Good coverage defensively.
Yeah, excellent coverage by Goodman. Andre Goodman has been playing outstanding football this year for Charlie Strong. He's a fifth-year senior, 6'1", 190 out of Greenville, South Carolina. Watch him read the quarterback, and as soon as he knows the ball's coming to him, he just fades right back into the throw. That is excellent coverage against George Wilson. Sheldon Brown, the corner on the other side, is the All-American. Andre Goodman really has been playing equally, if not a little bit better than Sheldon this season.
Well, statistically, he's picked off 3 interceptions so far this year. Third down and 13. 3-man Carolina rush. Got him. Oh, it's knocked down. Stephen Harris had a step, and Sheldon Brown got an arm on it.
And that was an All-American play, because Sheldon Brown read this at the last minute and came over the top to knock the ball down. If he misses this, this is a touchdown for Arkansas. Take a look now. Right from the right, Sheldon Brown comes over the top and gets a hand on the football. Excellent play by the senior from Fort Lawn, South Carolina.
Richie Butler to punt on 4th down. End over end, and it will take a neutral bounce and be down at the 45-yard line. That's a 40-yard punt. But with less than a minute remaining in the first quarter, South Carolina starts with excellent field position on this possession. And before this game is over, we will choose the Army Player of the Game.
You know, Vern, I know that Skip Holtz, the offensive coordinator, likes to use a spread offense, but I don't think that's the way to beat Arkansas. I think you need to beat Arkansas by running power football. They're not very strong up front. They've got speed all the way on the perimeter. I think you got to do it just like this. I formation, put a tight end in there, and run right at this defense. When you spread out and try to throw it, that plays into the hands of this Arkansas defense.
Petty has changed the play and gives it to Watson. Boy, that's a tough 1 yard.
One of the problems in defending South Carolina is that they can do both. They can get in the I formation and run the football like they did here, like they did at Mississippi State, 238 yards. But they can also spread it out and throw it. Alabama, they couldn't run it. They threw it for 291. So they're very versatile on offense, but I think against this defense, the best attack is right what they're doing right now. Line up, tight ends, I formation, give it to your big backs.
Play fake. Petty going deep. And that one's going to be intercepted by Lawrence Richardson inside the 10. Ryan Scott, the intended receiver, perfectly played by number 1, but there is a flag at the 16-yard line.
They put a lot of pressure on Arkansas's corners because they want the safeties to get up and help against the run. He's out there single. No help from a safety. Reads the ball perfectly. It's slightly overthrown, and Richardson with a great play.
This is going to be a celebration penalty.
Well, again, sometimes I think they take a little bit of the fun out of the game. The kid just made an awesome play. But unfortunately, he puts his offense in a hole. And right now, Zach Clark has to be very smart with the football. They got a nice turnaround from their defense. They cannot turn the ball back to South Carolina. And for Phil Petty, his first interception of the season.
First interception going back to the last game of last year. So the streak reaches 128.
Ball security right now is critical for Arkansas.
Faison is there defensively on Talley to force him inside. And then Langston Moore got back to make the tackle. That is the end of the first quarter with our score 3-0 Arkansas. We'll return to Little Rock right after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to War Memorial in Little Rock. Second quarter underway. And a second down and 7 for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Petty, or Zach Clark rather, goes deep right side, and that's going to bring up a third down as we get underway here in the second quarter. One of 2 games, as we've said, that Arkansas will play this year, and Lou Holtz coming back for the second time. He said that he thought there was a 10-point difference for the Razorbacks playing here rather than Fayetteville.
It's a great environment for the home team. Houston Nutt 10-0 here, and the fans are right down on top of it. It's very loud, and the worst thing that could happen to Lou Holtz has happened. Arkansas is still in the ball game. In fact, they're leading at the end of the first quarter, so the longer they stay in it, the better they're going to play.
Third down, Carolina looks like they want a blitz. Here comes Talley, and Talley is out with a first down to the 15-yard line. Needed 7, got 8.
Nice call by Houston Nutt. You don't want to put your quarterback, Zach Clark, in a tough situation there, because the worst thing you can do here is turn it over. Nice blocking on the left side by Lazarius White and Shannon Money. And Fred Talley knows what he needs for the first down. That is a huge run from the little guy.
Brandon Holmes, who has been the starter, not available today because of an injury, out for at least a week. They suspect a broken bone in his foot, which might make it longer. And Cedric Cobbs has been hampered with a hamstring, and Talley has responded beautifully in the game thus far. He gets it again. He's a tiny guy compared to the other 2. He's only 5'9" and 180.
He has great vision, though. You know, Talley, what he lacks in size, he has great vision. He can make you miss. He kind of hides in behind those big offensive linemen and can spurt out of there. You see the numbers way down for this offense in general, and specifically the 3 runners. Holmes hurt now, Cedric Cobbs still banged up, and Fred Talley carrying the load.
Second down and 7. Marcellus Poitras, the tight end, will come in motion, number 95. Play fake. Zach Clark looks deep right side and overthrows George Wilson, who had run a nice pattern. And let's take a look now at the Exxon and Mobil playbook.
Well, when you play South Carolina, there is one guy that you have to account for on every play, and it's Kalimba Edwards. Sometimes he lines up as a linebacker off the ball. Sometimes he's a blitzing linebacker. He'll also put his hand on the ground and play a defensive end. Today, he's played 10 plays as a defensive end, 9 plays as a stand-up linebacker, but make sure you know where he is on every play.
Yet to make a tackle today. It's third down. Here's Clark. Not a scrambler. But in this play, he is. How about that? Houston Nutt telling us the other day he does not have great escapability.
But he escaped Kalimba Edwards, the best player on the field, on that play. Watch Zach Clark. Good protection, and when he leaves the pocket, Kalimba's got him in his sights and overruns the play. And Zach Clark able to stop and take it forward for the first down. Here's Kalimba, a little over anxious on this play, runs right past Zach Clark, and Clark gets the first down.
You get a 14-yard run out of Clark. That's a big bonus. Flag is down, and Talley is as well. Talley comes left. The flag thrown on the opposite side of the field. And we await the call. I think Lou Holtz thinks it's going to be against Arkansas, and he wants to accept the penalty.
Illegal motion against the offense. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
And for the first time since he carried once and fumbled on a 3-yard gain in the Alabama game 3 weeks ago, Cedric Cobbs is on the field for the Arkansas Razorbacks. A sophomore from Little Rock. Sophomore who got a red shirt season out of last year after he was injured in game 4. Here is Cobbs. They hand it off to Cobbs, and he picks up a couple. Now let's go back to Tim Brando in New York for another update.
Vern, I've got a 4th down play that your old quarterback Todd Blackledge is going to love. Brandon Doman, little flanker screen to Rod Wilkerson, 28 yards in the touchdown. BYU in the scoring fest of the Mountain West, up by 3 in the second. Back to you, Vern.
All right, Todd, thank you. 10-7 there. Second down and 12 here. And Matt Jones in at quarterback. He will take this on a direct snap from his center, Kenny Sandler. 4-man rush. rush. The handoff to Cobbs, and there is nothing there. Kenny Harney, number 44. And Jonathan Martin, number 30, parts of the tackle.
You know, Houston Nutt so wants to get Cedric Cobb into a groove in this offense. He's a big, fast guy, has so much ability, but, you know, when you get a running back with a hamstring problem, it's tough. And they run tentative, and if it doesn't feel 100% for him, it's hard for them to turn it on. And even on that carry right there, Cedric Cobb looked very tentative when he ran the football.
Now you see they picked up 62 yards in the ball game so far. 3rd and 11. Here's Clark. The answer's right. Chased by Kalimba Edwards. There's going to be a flag. And this will go against Arkansas. And now Clark is down out of bounds. And gets up limping.
He made his college debut last year in the game in Columbia. Was off to a good start and was replaced when he hurt his ankle. And it appears that he is hobbling a little bit right now.
And another penalty against Arkansas here.
I think they got Sean Andrews, the true freshman offensive tackle, trying to block Kalimba Edwards. Watch the end of this play. Kalimba Edwards pulls him down, and it looks like the left ankle or knee.
Now the penalty is declined. Clark limps over to the sideline, and on 4th down, Richie Butler comes back on, and as they have done throughout the first half, South Carolina has 2 men deep, Ryan Brewer and Chavez Donnings. Line drive. It bounces between the two. Chavez Donning gets away from it. Now, you were at practice the other day, and he got in Lou Holtz's doghouse.
Yeah, he wanted Chavez to run that thing straight up the field, and when Chavez put a little shake and bake on, Lou jumped out of his golf cart, took off after him, and got right in his face and made sure he understood how he wanted him to return the punt.
War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas. The Razorbacks leading Ryan Sorahan warming up on the sideline. He's a JC transfer who started 2 games this year, replacing Zach Clark, then suffered a bruised back and a loss at Alabama. And here's Petty finding Derek Watson, who proceeds to play dropsy with the football. Now, Zach Clark looked like a left knee or ankle, not sure which. Young man from Fayetteville. He has missed his last 5 passes in succession. And Ryan Sorahan on the phone. Second and 10.
No middle safety now. A lot of room for Phil Petty. It's a blitz look by Arkansas.
Jermaine Petty in the middle defensively.
They're not going to get it off. Center couldn't hear the snap count.
Flag is thrown before the snap. This will be delay of game.
This was blitz all the way by John Thompson's defense. The free safety, Kenny Hamlin, right up there in the mix, actually got a hit on Phil Petty. And he's a free safety that's how they list him in the program, Vern, but he plays more like a linebacker. I mean, they have him around the football a lot more than they do in center field. I mean, here he is, he's blitzing. That's a free safety blitz. Gets the free shot on the quarterback. He is a big physical safety, 6'2", 197 pounds.
That's the 4th penalty already on South Carolina, the least penalized team in the SEC. They came in with 26. On 2nd down, Petty. Rush coming from the corner. He goes deep left side. Man coverage. Lawrence Richardson defending. He's already picked one off, and he's going to get into a little jawing now with the intended wide receiver, Matthew Thomas. Now let's go down to Jill Arrington for an update on Clark.
Well, Zach Clark got pulled from behind, kind of hyperextended his knee underneath him. They checked it out. He says he's fine. He's pacing the sideline now because he found out they're putting Ryan Sorahan in. He's not happy about it.
All right, Jill, thank you. 3rd and 15.
Those injuries get better quick when you know you're getting the hook.
See what Arkansas has in mind defensively. Looks like they're going to rush 3.
Hamlin's in a blitz position right here.
Here they come. Petty hit as he lets it go, but he's got ball open. Or Brian Scott, it's incomplete.
I like what John Thompson's doing, though, Vern. He is going after Phil Petty. He says he can't beat us as a runner. We're going to go after him, and we're going to hit him as many times as we can. Man-to-man coverage, Brian Scott working on Corey Harris, and Arkansas wins, plus they get a hit on the quarterback. Tony Bua blitzing from the outside.
On fourth down, here's Tyler Dean. Sails this one again. Jackson over the shoulder catch. Escapes the tackle. He's trying to find the wall. Flag is down. And so is Jackson after a 12-yard return. This one might go further south.
Arkansas has enjoyed the better field position in this first half so far. This is going to set them back some, but they'll still have pretty good position as they start this drive.
Holding on the return against the return team. The penalty's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Will be first down. Timeout. Media.
We are the media. CBS Sports coverage of Home Depot SEC football will continue after this word from your local station. On first down and 10, Zach Clark pleaded his case with Houston Nutt. He is back on the field. Hands it off to Talley. Talley comes over left tackle and punches it out to the 40-yard line. That's a nice gain of 6 yards.
I think Zach Clark, you mentioned he missed his last 5, but he needs to hit a big pass play. They need to get a play that gets some chunk of yardage. And they've run the ball with some success, so play action may be the best way to do that. Fake the ball to Fred Talley, but get the ball downfield and pick up a chunk of yardage.
Second down and 4. Talley the deep back in the eye. Sparky Hamilton starts in motion. Talley gets through an arm tackle, puts his shoulder down to get 3 additional yards, and that is another Arkansas first down. Sheldon Brown with the tackle.
Really nice block by the fullback, Mark Pierce, on Willie Offord. Watch 33 lead the play. Gets a nice cut block on Willie Offord, and that springs Talley to the outside. Kalimba Edwards, what happened to him? They double teamed him. The left tackle, the left guard, pinned him inside. Good execution by the Arkansas offense.
7th first down for the Razorbacks. They've got the ball first and 10 at midfield. Pierce and Talley again, the backs in the eye. Clark. Quick setup. Looking left, going deep. Stevie Harris overthrown.
What?
And Sheldon Brown defending on the play. Get the scoop on the SEC and see where your team ranks in the Sportsline 117 power rankings. Just go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
You know, Vern, one thing that I've noticed right away from the last time we saw this Arkansas team against Alabama, they are much better up front. Their offensive line is much better than they were earlier in the season. Now they moved Kenny Sandlin to center. They put the true freshman Sean Andrews in at right tackle, and they are playing much better than they did earlier in the year.
2nd and 10. Clark deep in the middle, and Brown for the second time in the game reaches up and tips it away.
But that's the kind of play that Arkansas needs to make. Play action pass, throw the ball deep to George Wilson, and Sheldon Brown shows why he's an All-American. You see his eyes? His eyes are on the quarterback. He knows when the ball's released. He knows when he can make a break on the ball. He never even touches the receiver. That is a beautiful play by Sheldon Brown. Zach Clark thought he had a touchdown or a big play and realized the All-American got it.
3rd down and 10. Matt Jones comes on as a wide receiver, and Arkansas will go from the gun. It's a 4-man rush. Clark overthrows the intended receiver Harris at the 40-yard line. Crowd partisan, thought perhaps there was illegal contact.
Just got to get that one down, Vern. He had what he wanted. He had his receiver open, and it was enough for the first down. Just too high with the football.
Zach Clark has missed 8 in succession now. That brings up 4th and 10. Ryan Brewer, the lone man, back this time for South Carolina. And Richie Butler on to punt. Bad one. Shanked it. Side of his foot. And down at the 27-yard line.
Boy, Houston Nutt is not going to be pleased with that. Your defense is playing lights out. You've got great field position. The worst case scenario here is you pin South Carolina way back deep. As it turns out, South Carolina, pretty good field position.
23-yard punt. All right, Todd, thank you. 1st and 10. Phil Petty in the gun. He's been intercepted once today. That ended a streak of 128 without a pick. Hands it off on 1st down to Derek Watson, and Watson tries to bowl over a defender. He is stopped at the 35-yard line after a gain of 8. It was Ken Hamlin. Well, Lou Holtz, midway through his 3rd season, has turned this South Carolina program around. Look at what he has done previous stops. At William & Mary, turned it around. North Carolina State. Arkansas, he was here for 7 years. Minnesota, Notre Dame, where he won a national championship. Every game to a bowl game by its 3rd season. And, of course, Lou Holtz and the Gamecocks got to a bowl last year. They went 8-4, having been 0-11 the year before. Big defensive play on 2nd down. Sasha Lancaster, number 46, and Carlos Hall. Well, we are the masters of the segue, and it's time now for the question of the week. What's the only team in NCAA history to go to a bowl game with a losing record? Coached by Lou Holtz. 3rd and 2. Straight T formation in the backfield. And the handoff is to Andrew Pinnock. When's the last time you saw a straight T?
Well, when I was in practice on Thursday. That's the last time I saw it. But yeah, that's you know, they run a little option off of that. It's kind of the belly series. And Andrew Pinnock, now when I saw him close up, this guy reminds me of Earl Campbell. He has huge thighs the way Earl Campbell used to have. He's 260 pounds and he can run like a tailback. I mean, he is a powerful man. And again, I expect that before this game's over, he will have a say in the outcome because that's the best way to attack this Arkansas defense.
That is only the 2nd first down by South Carolina in the game. Watson searching, finding a little hole, and he picks up 5. Let's go back and watch Andrew Pinnock on that previous play.
We mentioned the full house. Here it is. 3 backs lined up on the same line. It's not a wishbone. It's just kind of old wing T, full house backfield, and they're just going to turn and give it to the fullback. Brewer is the lead blocker. They also have Watson in the backfield that can do a lot of different things with those 3 guys in the backfield together.
2nd down and 4. Petty fires it left side. Caught, but they lost a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down. Matthew Thomas makes the grab.
Nope. Jermaine Petty, one of the leaders of this defense. You mentioned earlier, Vernie, he's led to the SEC in tackles the last 3 weeks. He's the only player on the team from South Carolina, and players on the South Carolina team have been calling him all week, giving him a hard time.
He played at Chapman High School in Inman, South Carolina, in the same county as Phil Petty from Boiling Springs, South Carolina. And here is Petty rolling right and firing it incomplete. 4th down. So the Petty from Inman wins this battle against the Petty from Boiling Springs.
And the Arkansas defense really has a handle on South Carolina right now. When we talked to Phil Petty earlier in the week, he said, I think the corners that Arkansas has are the best that we've ever seen. There's John Thompson, the defensive coordinator, and Phil Petty said these corners are really good, and they're proving it today.
Tyler Dean pumps this one deep. Jackson at the 21-yard line. That is a 37-yard punt. And the Arkansas Razorbacks get the ball back with 6 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the first half of play. The only score, a first quarter Razorback field goal. Arkansas defensive coordinator John Thompson giving a little pep talk to his troops. Arkansas has the ball on offense, and Fred Talley skips out to the 25-yard line.
Well, you know, I really like John Thompson and his style today. Now, this guy's been very successful. He was at Southern Miss for 7 years, turned that program around, or part of that, and at Memphis in 1999 improved them from 106 in the country to 23rd in total defense in 1 year, and kind of took over the defensive coordinator position here late in the year last year. And he's got a very aggressive style. They're not a very big defense, but they're very fast, and they've got good corners.
On 2nd down and 5, here's Talley, and that's going to set up a 3rd down. Well, John Thompson played his collegiate football in the state of Arkansas at Central Arkansas, and he's one of 7 men who have an association, a tie with Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
And John was telling us the other day he was the defensive coordinator in 1982 at Arkadelphia High School. And he quit his job and went to Fayetteville and asked Lou Holtz if he could get on as a graduate assistant. And that is how he earned his first step into collegiate coaching.
Can you imagine the number of guys all over the country that have that kind of a tie to Lou Holtz?
Pretty good coaching tree, huh?
Yeah.
3rd down now, Arkansas. Here's Clark, left side, incidental contact as the receiver Sam Breeden was being played well by Sheldon Brown. He slipped, and no flag thrown. It'll be 4th down.
See, right now what's happening is South Carolina's defense does not fear the Arkansas passing game at all. They're squeezing down on all the routes. They're not afraid of Zach Clark beating them with a big throw right now, and it's going to be very difficult. They've got to hit a play in the passing game to loosen up the defense.
Now Richie Butler on to punt, still thinking, I'm sure, of that last effort, which was 23 yards. Got plenty of space here. Ryan Brewer is the deep back, and this one will be taken by Brewer, who is tackled at the 40-yard line. Good downfield coverage by Jackson. A 37-yard punt and 4 on the return. Lou Holtz turned 65 in January. He and his wife Beth celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary last summer, July 22nd, and were surprised with a wedding celebration, an anniversary celebration by their son Skip. Gathered about 150 friends in the press box at the stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Lou told us he was really in a bad mood that day, and he didn't want to go up. He thought they were urging him up to sign autographs, and turned into a memorable evening. Petty, good downfield coverage. Finds a receiver left side. That's Chavez Donnings, number 83, and he makes the grab at the 47. His first catch and his 2nd on the season.
Nice job by Petty. I mean, the strength of Phil Petty is his intelligence, his ability to distribute the football, to read the defenses. This is an outlet receiver in Donnings, not a primary target, but Petty finds him for a positive gain.
Skip Holtz, one of the 4 Holtz children, 3 of whom, including Skip, graduated from Notre Dame. And here's Derek Watson. Good play by Tony Bua. Nice open field tackle.
See, Vern, this defense of Arkansas has a lot of guys that are defensive back size that are playing linebacker type positions. Tony Bua is only 200 pounds, but he is a very active guy, and he's a very good tackler in the open field, so he gets away with playing that linebacker position.
3rd and 2. 4 wide receivers. Right side, incomplete, intended for Chavez Donning, and a little behind him.
3rd and 2. I think that should have been Andrew Pinnock time. You know, instead of putting it in Phil Petty's hands against these good Arkansas corners, try your big guy against this smaller defense.
And that brings Tyler Dean on for his 5th punt. Again, nice and high. Jackson grabs it, bobbles it, and then is tackled at the 11-yard line. John Stamper with the tackle, and let's check in once again with Jill Arrington.
Well, Lou Holtz is a trooper on and off the field. He is very involved in his community service here in the state and the nation. He's at the state fair enjoying some amusement rides. Also, the South Carolina coach, he enjoyed playing touch football with his coaching staff, showing his arm and what he's still got. He also visited some troops at the Shaw Air Force Base in September in Sumter, South Carolina, supporting the troops as they were deployed. And he received the Order of the Palmetto Award from the governor of South Carolina in August, the state's highest civilian honor, recognizing his lifetime achievement and his service in the state and the nation.
All right, Jill, thank you. On first down, the carry to the right side. Lou was also on a USO tour last summer to the troops in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Kuwait, and said of all the speeches he has given, and he is a very accomplished after-dinner speaker around the country, the speech he made 23 miles from the Iraqi border in Kuwait at 11 o'clock in the morning is the most memorable. He addressed the troops, said it was 137 degrees in the desert at 11 a.m. Here's the handoff, left side. Fred Talley out across the 15, might have gotten the 16-yard line. He ran into Kalimba Edwards. Well, it is time now for the answer to the Aflac question. What is the only team? You crack me up. William and Mary in 70. They went to the Tangerine Bowl and lost to Toledo 12-40. I'm surprised. I think I was there. 3rd and 4 at the 16. Richard Smith, wide right. Wilson to the left. Talley, quick closing. Oh, what a defensive play.
See, right now, Houston Nutt does not have confidence in Zach Clark making a throw for him. Zach Clark has not been hot here recently. 3rd down and 5. You'd think your quarterback needs to make a throw, and he decides to give it to Talley and punt the football. And until Zach Clark makes a play throwing it, they're going to have to be conservative.
Carolina calls time. Two minutes, 22 seconds to go before the break, and Carolina uses one of its 3 timeouts. They've yet to cross midfield in this ball game, but an excellent chance here. Butler, nice deep kick. Brewer drifting back and grabbing it. Is tackled at the 43-yard line, and that's going to be a penalty on Arkansas for getting inside the 2 yards and essentially interfering with the attempt to make the catch.
I think it was Ahmad Carroll, the true freshman cornerback out of Atlanta, Georgia, Douglas High School. He was the first guy down there. But they may get Brian Elam for a block in the back against South Carolina. So far today, very good coverage by Arkansas covering their kicks.
And that's not been one of the strengths this year. There's Houston Nutt looking on. And a rather lengthy discussion now among the quintet of officials. Make it a sextet. We've just had a 6th come in.
Well, take a look now, the right side of your frame. It's Marvin Jackson, number 3, and there's the block in question by Brian Elam. Ahmad Carroll made the tackle. Number 3, the first guy down there, Marvin Jackson.
Might this be a South Carolina penalty?
Yeah, I think that's what it is going to be.
No, they're going to say against Arkansas.
They're going penalties both ways. He
There's
was
one.
too close, and there was also a holding penalty against South Carolina.
Well, while they sort this out, let us tell you what's coming up Sunday on CBS. They were TV's original survivors, but behind the scenes, Gilligan's Island was no paradise. Find out what went on when the cameras were off. Don't miss the world premiere movie, Surviving Gilligan's Island, Sunday on CBS.
Just sit right back and enjoy the tale.
Well, I'm going to hustle back to Steamboat
Violation.
Springs for that one.
The 2-yard belt on the kicking team. Block in the back against the receiver. Penalty, offset, repunt.
Well, they'll kick it again. You know, Vern, when South Carolina gets the ball back, they've got 2 minutes and 12 seconds. They've only had 2 first downs. They're averaging 1.3 yards per play. And one of the things that they haven't done yet that I think they do very well is run screens. Now, they're going to have good field position. And the screen game that South Carolina has been very effective, and particularly against a defense like Arkansas. I wouldn't be surprised to see him run a screen, maybe try to get the ball to Ryan Brewer.
Houston Nutt still anguished on the sideline about that interpretation of the rules. Here's Butler on the punt again. This is a good one. Ryan Brewer awaits it, has it at the 39. And Ahmad Carroll is right there. Superb downfield coverage by Jackson and Carroll, the same two. The two gunners got down and did an excellent job of covering the punt.
Well, you would think they might be a little tentative, but watch the gunners getting down quick. Great coverage, as you mentioned, Vern. Beating the press coverage, and then right down and then break down. Right at the point, break down, stay away from the returner, and then make the sure tackle. That is excellent special teams work by Arkansas.
Houston Nutt, even as the play is going on, he's arguing his case. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Petty has a man in motion left side. It goes to Corey Alexander, who is dropped after a gain of 2. Raymond House, number 56, the right end.
What a nice play by Carlos Hall also. Just doing a nice job of stringing it out. Take a look at him right here, Carlos Hall. He's playing well in this ball game. He reads the reverse, stands up his man Bokerman, doesn't get the tackle, but he slows up the runner.
2nd and 7. Petty, slant pattern, finds Scott, 1st down at the 45. That's a 1st and 10 and the first time that South Carolina has been across midfield. Gain of 11, HP halftime report. Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman with scores and highlights. 1:23 to go. Clock will start and does now. Petty, quarterback draw. Good block. Derek Watson got an excellent block. There is a flag, and this one might come back.
Skip Holtz is looking for anything offensively right now. Phil Petty, not known as a runner. That's the 2nd quarterback draw that they've called for him. But this one coming back. There's Skip. He loves his quarterback's decision making. You know, he's not a guy that's going to wow you with his running ability or impress you with his throwing arm, but he makes good decisions.
Against the offense. Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Remains 1st down.
I think they're going to get the center right in the middle of the screen. Larrell Johnson with the block on Kurt Davis, the hold. But you see Phil Petty protecting the football at the end of the play. Vern, as good as Arkansas's defense has played in the first half, they cannot give up a touchdown right now. This is still a fragile team psychologically. They've got a hold here.
They bring 5 on 1st down. There's a ball right side for Scott, who dives for it and cannot get to it. 2nd down, 47 seconds to go. And Carlos Hall, whose name we've called a number of times, in on that one.
You know, when I've watched film on him this week, he seemed like he was always a step behind. But today, he's a step ahead of the action. He's getting in the face of the quarterback. He is disrupting plays, doing all the things that the coaches have expected him to do this season.
3rd and 19. 2nd and 19. Rush 3, go deep across the middle. Wide open is Scott. 1st down at the 31-yard line. South Carolina will call timeout. That will leave them with 1. But a huge conversion on 2nd down. 23-yard gain. 3-0 Arkansas. Carolina threatening. South Carolina 1st down at the Arkansas 31, trailing by 3.
During that last play, John Thompson elected to rush 3 and drop 8. I bet they come after him from here on in.
They do. Man coverage right side. Bad pass. Miscommunication with Thomas and his quarterback, and Richardson, who has 1 interception today, almost grabbed his 2nd. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Lou Holtz has a couple young guys out there at the outside receivers. Matthew Thomas, the intended receiver there, is a true freshman out of Pearson, Georgia. They really feel like they've improved their offense because they've added speed at the perimeter, but the guys are young.
4 wideouts and Watson in the slot to the right on 2nd and 10.
Keep your eye on Ryan Brewer right here, Vern.
Slot to the left. Low snap. Petty has it knocked down in the line of scrimmage. Kurt Davis, number 94, the senior from Monroe, Louisiana.
Nice job by Kurt Davis. We mentioned this earlier. Sometimes you can't get to the quarterback to sack, but this can be just as effective. Read his eyes, time your jump, get a hand on the football. Nice play by the nose guard.
Here's Kurt Davis. 3rd and 10. Thomas goes wide left. The other 3 come to the right. The inside man is Ryan Brewer.
Huge 3rd down play here because this is not really field goal range.
Here comes the blitz. Carlos Hall. And the ball is caught, but way short of the 1st down. Carlos Hall unimpeded.
2 great plays. Carlos Hall with the pressure. Jermaine Petty reading the screen and reacting. Here's Petty. Here's Hall. Watch the pressure created. And then the read by the middle linebacker. Hall forces the throw. Petty makes the read and makes the sure tackle. Carlos Hall is playing a great game today for Arkansas. He's got to continue in the 2nd half. They lead 3-0 right now.
South Carolina will not try a 50-yard field goal on 4th down. They've got their regular offense spread across the field. 5 seconds to go on 4th and 12. Petty heaves it deep into the end zone for Watson. It's intercepted. And the half comes to an end as it is picked off by Corey G. Harris. And the Arkansas Razorbacks 2-3 for the season. Let's go down to Jill Arrington with Lou Holtz.
Coach Holtz, your defense is holding their own, but your offense hasn't been able to get in any kind of rhythm. Is Arkansas throwing you some prizes?
Well, we're having trouble in the offensive line getting protection. They're playing man-to-man coverage on us, and we aren't able to get free with wide receivers, and we can't block them up front. But that's only a half of a game. There'll be another half.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Jill. 3-0. Who'da thunk it? Arkansas leads. The Hogs over the Fighting Chickens. We go back to New York. Here's Tim Brando.
Welcome to the SEC. Thanks, guys. Coming up, Spencer and I will have all of today's scores and highlights, including our Hurricane Watch in Tallahassee after this message and a word from your local station.
We welcome you back to War Memorial Stadium, Little Rock, Arkansas. 2nd half, the Razorbacks lead it 3-0 over South Carolina. The Gamecocks will receive the kickoff to start the 2nd half. Derek Watson, one of 2 men deep. David Carroll with the kick. And it's taken by Ryan Brewer. The reverse to Watson. And Watson speeding down the right side. Here comes the kicker, Carroll. And Carroll slowed him up just enough to get him out of bounds. So a little sleight of hand on the opening kickoff. Brewer with the reverse, Sam. Look at it again.
Yeah, there was some question, why would Ryan Brewer run this out of the end zone? Clearly, they had this play designed. It caught Arkansas off guard, and Derek Watson gets South Carolina in good position right away. Lou Holtz loves it. And you know Lou got after the troops at halftime. There's no question, and that's a good start for the Gamecocks.
42-yard kickoff return.
Corey Jenkins in the game.
And he fumbles the opening snap. The handoff is picked up. Corey Jenkins, a junior college freshman now, junior, 24 years old, played baseball for 5 years and then signed with South Carolina. Vern Lundquist along with Todd Blackledge, 3-0 at the half. Yeah. Keys for both teams.
Well, I think for South Carolina, they've got to do it running the football. Derek Watson, Andrew Pinnock in the first half, only 2 carries, 2 yards. They've got to run at this Arkansas defense. Arkansas, I think they have to throw, and I think they're going to need to go with Ryan Sorahan at some point in the ball game.
2nd down and 7 as Jenkins had a most significant series and a win on the road at Mississippi State this year. Came on to replace Phil Petty and stayed on for a 16-play drive that was key in a road victory over Mississippi State.
And the amazing thing about that series, Vern, is he came on the field when they had the ball on the 15-yard line. They ran 16 plays, and Corey Jenkins ran it 11 times. So he is very much a running threat on this third down play.
3rd and 5. Here's Jenkins with the change. Pinnock is the setback. 4 seconds on the play clock.
Not going to get it off, Vern.
Nope. Delay a game.
That's a key penalty because, and you can see the frustration on Skip Holtz's face. See, 3rd down and 5, you can run something with Corey Jenkins, an option or something, and got a chance to convert. Now you go back 5 more, 3rd and 10, a total different situation now for Skip Holtz in the offense.
And it's back at the 42, 3rd down and 10. Petty and Hall.
Yeah, they're yelling. They're yelling at the quarterback. The crowd's yelling at everybody. And now
Wide receivers. 3rd and 10. Jenkins. Here comes the blitz. Hamlin, he escapes that, finds a receiver. And it is caught by Brewer for a first down at the 45-yard line. That's a gain of 13. The need was 10.
Well, how about the strength of Corey Jenkins? Watch him escape. This is an unblocked man. A blitz from the outside. Hamlin, the best defender for Arkansas, sheds him and then makes the nice throw to Ryan Brewer. Excellent play by Corey Jenkins, avoiding the rush and converting the 3rd down.
1st and 10 at the 45. Carolina trails by 3. Fake the handoff, run it. Jenkins to the 41-yard line. That's a quick pickup of 4.
Vern, I think this is smart by Skip Holtz in South Carolina, because with Corey Jenkins in the game and his ability to run, and it's not just option. They'll run quarterback draws, quarterback traps. It's just like having another running back in the backfield, more so than a quarterback.
Corey Jenkins signed with South Carolina in 1995, but then was drafted in the 1st round by the Boston Red Sox. He played minor league baseball for the Red Sox and White Sox chains for the better part of 4.5 seasons. And he's got it again, breaks a tackle, and here goes Jenkins. Being chased, Jenkins, touchdown, South Carolina. "41-yard touchdown rumble."
Vern, you mentioned it. Corey Jenkins did it to Mississippi State. He caught them completely off guard. Watch the ball fake to Watson. That fooled the defense. He eluded Tony Bua, who is a very good tackler, number 22. And just great open field running by Corey Jenkins. What a big lift he's given to this South Carolina offense. This offense only gained 65 yards in the whole 1st half. Watch the fake. That fooled Carlos Hall. Gets away from Bua. Excellent open field running by Corey Jenkins.
Well, 2 huge plays in the drive. Lou Holtz with a pat on the head. Corey Jenkins on 3rd and 10 finds Ryan Brewer after evading the tackle of Hamlin, and then a 41-yard run for the touchdown. 15-yard penalty on sportsmanlike conduct. Daniel Weaver with the extra point, and he knocks it home. An electrifying start for South Carolina to open the 3rd quarter. Corey Jenkins got a little exuberant with his celebration after the touchdown, and you do that, you get to hear from Lou Holtz.
Yeah, Lou's saying, act like you've been there before. You know, he's a big stickler on that. He wants guys to be excited, but don't hurt the team with excessive celebration.
Jill Arrington began the telecast by telling us about Lou Holtz's 4 stages of winning. Here's Jackson, just is tripped up as he gets to the 30-yard line.
Well, Arkansas, one of the best return teams in the country. And Jackson looked like he had a nice seam, and Brian Elam is just going to trip him up at the end of this return. From behind, number 25 gets a hold of the right ankle, and Jackson goes down.
Zach Clark, who was 3 of 13 throwing the football, is in at quarterback for the Arkansas Razorbacks, who now trail for the first time today. Fred Talley going left. Spilled after a gain of 1.5, perhaps 2. Tomorrow at noon Eastern on the NFL Today, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the latest news. Plus, Dion used to try to pick off Brett. Now he goes face-to-face with Brett. A lot of first names. The NFL Today tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. Zach Clark missed his last 9 passes, and there is a player injured. It's Mark Pierce, number 33, the fullback.
Well, Vern, I want to clarify a point I made right when we started the third quarter, that I think that Arkansas, in order to win this game, may have to go to backup quarterback Ryan Sorahan, because I think Arkansas, to win, is going to have to win by throwing the football. They've got to make some plays throwing it. And simply, I think Sorahan is a better thrower than Zach Clark. I think Zach Clark's a good leader. I think he's running and managing the team pretty well. But you saw that he's missed his last 9 passes. And South Carolina is going to clamp down on Fred Talley in the running game here. And for Arkansas to win, they're going to have to make plays throwing the ball down the field.
Let's take another look at the injury to Mark Pierce, number 33, and he had Kalimba Edwards roll up on his ankle.
Yeah, this happens so often. You don't know where the guy's coming from. Falls into the back of the legs and out.
Clark on first down, finds a man open. Right side, it's Richard Smith. And he's out to the 37-yard line. Antoine Neesmith makes the tackle.
Not a really good decision that time by Richard Smith in going backwards. It looked like he was close to having the first down when he made the catch and retreated to try to make it a bigger play than it was, and ended up with a 3rd down and 4.
Smith with 2 catches for the day. Wears number 8, as does Ahmad Carroll, who plays a lot of defensive back. A lot of colleges duplicate numbers, but in this case, both men play a substantial amount of time. Here's Clark, left side. He's got Smith, and they've got a first down. Wow. Sheldon Brown with a tackle.
That was a dangerous throw, Vern. They're on the right hash, and it's a quick out to the left. Here it is right here, going against the All-American Sheldon Brown, and Sheldon knows it's coming. He makes a quick break on the ball, but the ball outside enough that Smith able to make the catch. That is a long throw, and Zach Clark got away with it. Big conversion.
Ends a list of 9 incomplete passes in succession. Now 5 of 15. This time he'll roll right, being chased by Stamper. Fires it incomplete, just across midfield. Richard Smith, the intended receiver.
Pretty nice idea by Houston Nutt, moving his quarterback out of the pocket, and Richard Smith not able to get his hands under the football. That's a good call. He had his hands on it, but the ball hit the ground.
And now Matt Jones comes on the field. Clark will stay on, so Jones this time will line up as a wide receiver.
You know, with him being a quarterback, there's always the threat of a double pass also.
Matt Jones up on the line. 3 wide receivers set. They hand it to Talley. Nothing there. Flag is down. Kenny Sandlin and Langston Moore matching 57s out here away from the play. They got into a pretty good wrestling match.
Face mask on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 2nd down.
Kalimba Edwards, linebacker from South Carolina.
He's an active guy, Vern. You know, he lines up all over the place. You really have to account for him. I think so far today, Arkansas has done a pretty good job of minimizing his big plays. South Carolina moves him around. He's had some tackles. He's shown up, but he hasn't made the big disruptive play.
On second down, quick opener, Fred Talley for a first down.
Nice block by the center, Kenny Sandlin, and the fullback, Sasha Lancaster. He's in there replacing Pierce. Both those guys got nice blocks right in the middle. And Fred Talley showing us his durability. He's used to rotating at the tailback position, and right now he's the only healthy guy, and he is carrying the ball all the time.
Brandon Holmes out, as we said. Cedric Cobbs played a little bit in the second quarter. Here's Talley again. Not much this time. He gets to the 40-yard line. Fred Talley is tackled by Jermaine Lemon, number 36. Kalimba Edwards, preseason Playboy All-American. Matter of fact, he told us earlier this week that he roomed with Julius Peppers in North Carolina while they were there, and also got to know Alex Brown. This get-up, I think, a little out of character for Kalimba Edwards.
Yeah, he's a pretty soft-spoken guy. He was asked to be more of a leader this year. He really didn't want to, but when a couple other guys like Kenny Harney and Shannon Wadley got hurt, he had to step up and be a vocal leader as well as a guy who leads by example. But
second and 9, Talley darts right, and he is tackled by Jermaine Lemon, number 36. And that's going to bring up third and long.
Big play right here for Zach Clark, Vern. I think it's important. Wow, he's got 2 pages on his wristband. I've never seen that. Look at that. He's got one that flips up. That's a lot of information on a wristband.
3rd and 7 at the 39. Smith, Harris, and Jones go wide left. George Wilson is wide right. South Carolina with a 4-man front. They're going to blitz. They're bringing everybody. Left side, it's Jones. Runs right into the tackle of Antoine Neesmith, short of the first down at the 34.
It's a nice job by Zach Clark getting rid of the ball under pressure, and it's just kind of a freshman mistake. Matt Jones, he's going to get a block from another receiver out there and just guesses wrong. He cuts back outside instead of inside the block. Might have gotten the first down. Antoine Nesmith, who's played very well for the South Carolina defense from his free safety spot up to make the tackle.
Well, they will pass on the 52-yard field goal attempt and go for first down on 4th and 3.
It's the second time that Arkansas has done this. You know, they've called a timeout right when the clock goes down. To me, that's kind of a waste of a timeout.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Suzuki, AC Delco, 7-Eleven, and by Aflac.
4th and 3 at War Memorial in Little Rock, and Arkansas has chosen to try for the first down. DeCorey Birmingham, number 32, on the field for the first time today. He's in a wing to the right side, leaving Talley directly behind Zach Clark. Here's the pass into the flat, caught. First down at the 30. The catch made.
It was Birmingham.
By DeCorey Birmingham.
You know, he's a guy who plays backup tailback, but also wide receiver. So you know he's got good hands. This is a well-designed play. Here he is right here. He's just going to go get the first down, and Zach Clark's going to stick him with the football. Kenny Harney there with the hit on the quarterback, but nice execution by Zach Clark. He called timeout to make this call, and it paid off for him.
First down and 10. Talley, nothing there. Manages to work to the 29, but that's it as we see the sun for the first time here in Little Rock today.
You know, one guy who's been quiet for Arkansas is George Wilson. He has been their go-to receiver, their leading receiver on the season. He only has had 1 catch today for 10 yards. And he's been making the few really big plays that they've had offensively this year. George Wilson has made most of them. Let's see if they can find a way to get him the ball here on this drive.
Zach Clark comes up under his center, Kenny Sandlin. 7-3 South Carolina. Second down and 8. Blitz coming. Faison picked up. They go deep left side, and there was a real mix-up. And one of the receivers fell. It's Harris who is down. Looks like his right knee on the cut. Stephen Harris, number 84. Well, we want you to join us next Saturday. We'll be in Tuscaloosa, Tennessee, at Alabama next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern time. Crimson Tide trying to right the ship. They lost a nail-biter today to Ole Miss. And it all begins with Spencer and Tim next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern. College football today. Go back and take a look at what happened to Stephen Harris.
Yeah, I think Harris may have been the intended receiver, and when he went to break out on the flag route, it looks like his knee just gave way. It's his right knee. He grabbed it immediately, and I think he was the intended receiver, and Zach Clark threw to a spot, but his receiver wasn't there.
Sam Breeden on in his spot now as the outside man wide to the left, and Matt Jones. Here's Jones. No. Just about broke it. He's down at the 25. And now let's see if Arkansas decides to eschew the field goal again.
It's a nice play by Kalimba Edwards. We said he hasn't really come up with the big play today. He made a big play that time. He stayed at home. He read the quarterback keeping the football, and he did his job. There he is, 55. He didn't overrun it. He stayed, broke down, and made the nice shoestring tackle to stop the first down.
4th and 5, and Jones is the quarterback in the shotgun. 3 receivers, 4 receivers spread out. And it's a quarterback draw. Matt Jones, he's got great speed.
Wow. That's some pressure to put on a freshman quarterback. 4th and 5. We've got to keep this drive going. You run for it, big guy. And this guy is 6'5", 220 pounds with the speed. And he does a nice job of getting to the outside. I think that South Carolina underestimated his speed on that play. They didn't know he could get to the corner that quick. Nice play by Matt Jones.
Matt Jones, 4.4 speed in the 40. Zach Clark back at the quarterback. Second time in the drive that Arkansas has converted the 4th down. 4th and 3 and 4th and 5. In the eye, they'll hand it to Talley, and he's to the 10-yard line. This has been a lengthy drive as well for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
It looks like Houston Nutt taking a little page out of Steve Spurrier's playbook back a few years ago, rotating quarterbacks. Little different rotation going on here. Zach Clark is the main guy, but he's got a little package in there for Matt Jones of running the football, running some options, quarterback draws. And boy, what a couple big conversions on this drive. Very important that Arkansas answered on this drive.
Mark Pierce is back on the field. Good news for Arkansas. Zach Clark into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Richard Smith!
Vern, watch Kalimba Edwards. This ball I thought was intercepted for sure. Kalimba's reading it the whole way. It goes right through his hands into the stomach of Richard Smith. And Zach Clark gets his team in the end zone. Richard Smith keeps his concentration. It goes through Edwards' hands, and Clark comes up with the ball.
Richard Smith, Houston Nutt, and unnecessary exuberance in the end zone. Another penalty is called.
And this is an important point after. They've got to execute here. 9-7. They need the 3-point advantage.
O'Donohue. He nailed it. In January, when you look back at the season, I think everybody in Arkansas will remember this drive. Arkansas goes 69 yards in 16 plays, 2 of which were 4th down conversions. 7:28 on the clock, and they reclaim the lead. David Carroll to kick off for the Razorbacks. Brewer and Watson deep, 5 yards into the end zone. Brewer will take a knee. Now let's take a look at our SEC moment presented by Sonic. Arkansas playing its first ever SEC game September 12, 1992 against South Carolina. Arkansas quarterback Jason Allen was 14 of 19 for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Arkansas defensive back Orlando Waters had a 45-yard interception return for a touchdown, as well as an 87-yard punt return for a TD. Arkansas won it big, 45-7.
Vern, Corey Jenkins back in the game at quarterback for South Carolina. Skip Holtz wanting to go with the same kind of approach with the running quarterback.
Jenkins goes right, follows the block of Pinnock, and is jammed up. Caleb Miller.
Caleb Miller got the tackle, but Carlos Hall is who made the play. Watch Carlos right here. Watch him just ride the blocks, push it back into the back of the quarterback. He got the penetration. Caleb Miller got the tackle. I'll guarantee you Arkansas will be more prepared for Corey Jenkins in this series than they were before.
2nd down and 10. No gain last play. 4-man rush. Jenkins comes up the middle and is tackled at the 24-yard line, again by Caleb Miller with Ken Hamlin's help. The Richard Toole Scholar Athlete Award for today's game goes to University of Arkansas number 43, Caleb Miller. Richard Toole's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to Arkansas's General Scholarship Fund. Caleb Miller, a sophomore, with a 3.4 grade point average.
And watch him, Vern, on this play. The last 2 plays, he's been spying Corey Jenkins. His responsibility is to watch the quarterback. Here he is right here. Watch him stay with the quarterback.
3rd and 6. Inside, almost picked off. Ken Hamlin was there. Jermaine Petty was there, and Caleb Miller was there.
Yep, that's a good defensive series. He's reading the quarterback all the way. As soon as he sees it's not a run, he follows his eyes and gets to the football. Almost intercepted, but a good defensive stand by the Arkansas Razorbacks. They were well prepared for Corey Jenkins that series.
Tyler Dean on to punt on 4th down. They come for the block, and it was tipped, so there is no flag for contact. And the ball will come to a rest inside the 40-yard line.
Jimmy Beasley got a hand on the football, and Tyler Dean got it. He got a lot out of that punt for a punt that looked like it could have been disastrous. Lou Holtz said he's a 2.5-foot step, and he doesn't like that, but Beasley not able to get enough of that. They went after him.
Sunday on 60 Minutes. What kind of men will it take to get your hands on Osama bin Laden? Men just like the ones you'll meet Sunday on 60 Minutes.
Just like the guy that sat next to me on the plane, I think, riding from Atlanta to Little Rock.
And here's the handoff to Talley and a quick gain of 5 to Linda Edwards, number 55. Yes, you met a lifelong Marine.
Yep. You know, I made the point earlier, the biggest difference in this Arkansas football team from when we saw them against Alabama is the offensive line. This unit is playing very well today. They're blocking well for Fred Talley. They're protecting Zach Clark. Kenny Sandlin, the ringleader up there at center. Bokerman, the right guard. Sean Andrews, the right tackle. Playing very well today.
Left side it goes to Talley on 2nd down. He manages just a yard. It'll be 3rd down. Talley closing in on a 100-yard afternoon. Let's go back to Tim Brando in New York.
All right, Vern, BYU trying to close in on their 6th straight victory. Brandon Doman, the quarterback, to Mike Rigel. 27 yards the strike in Albuquerque, and BYU now has the lead. They get their longtime nemesis Air Force, Fisher DeBerry, and the guys next week.
All right, thank you, Tim. Fred Talley, 100 yards for the 2nd consecutive week. He had 135 last week against Weber State. Here's Talley again on 3rd down, comes up short. It'll be 4th down.
Nice defense by South Carolina, Vern, because Matt Jones was in at quarterback. He burned him on the 4th down play the last drive. This time they tried to fake the quarterback running, giving it to Talley, and it was well defended by South Carolina.
3 and out now for Arkansas. 1:16 to go in the 3rd quarter of play, and the Gamecocks will get the ball back. Ryan Brewer awaits the punt at the 11-yard line. Richie Butler, they come, and there is no flag thrown here either. And that's going to be downed legally at the 1-yard line.
Great play by Marvin Jackson, Vern. You know, in college football, the man can actually be in the end zone or touching the end zone as long as the ball doesn't cross the plane. And watch Marvin Jackson chase this thing down and throw it back out in the field of play. His foot is on the line, but the ball was never across the end zone. So it's a good play, and he puts the Arkansas defense in perfect position.
Now listen to the hog calls.
Yeah. Vern, this is why I think the SEC is the best conference top to bottom. And here's Arkansas, a team that's down. This is a tough place to come in and win for a team ranked as high as South Carolina.
Phil Petty back at quarterback in the end zone. Will throw it. Maybe. Yes, he does. To Brewer, incomplete. Good coverage there from Ken Hamlin.
And he paid the price, too, because Carlos Hall put a lick on Phil Petty. Good coverage downfield. Petty couldn't throw it early, and then when he did make the throw, he took one in the back from Carlos Hall. Carlos Hall working against a new left tackle. That's Shane Hall, who's replacing Travell Wharton. Wharton is the starter, didn't play today because of an ankle injury, and Carlos Hall getting the best of it.
4 wideouts. They spread the field on 2nd down and 10. Here comes Hamlin. Got Petty as he let it go. And it's incomplete. Ken Hamlin had an unimpeded shot.
This is the confidence John Thompson has in his corners. There's no safety, and he puts his safety right up there to rush. He says, corners, you got it man-to-man. I'm going after the quarterback. I'm not going to give you any help with a safety. I'm going to rush my safety and try to knock the quarterback down.
3rd and 10. And the official has ruled the play dead before the snap.
You know what? Right now, Lawrence Richardson is signaling to the bench, and this is a good thing because South Carolina is going to quick kick.
South Carolina.
They called timeout, but they have Ryan Brewer in, and they were going to quick kick this play.
That exasperates Lou Holtz. Yeah. Timeout called by Arkansas.
Well, South Carolina, this is Phil Petty, and he is kind of moving down the line of scrimmage. This was going to be a quick kick, a direct snap to Ryan Brewer, but the timeout was called over on the side.
And that's the official who came up before the snap and clearly indicated that time had been called.
They practiced that quick kick where Phil Petty acts like he's moving down the line to communicate the snap count, and they snap it to Ryan Brewer, who actually punted for South Carolina a couple years ago.
Re-rack.
Yep.
3rd and 10. Petty retreats, goes deep right side. Contact made and the catch is made. Ryan Scott, wow.
They beat Eddie Jackson. Again, it's man-to-man. That's Arkansas style. They trust their corners. And how about Phil Petty? Out of his own end zone, knows he's going to get hit by House, and delivers a perfect throw to Brian Scott. Phil Petty is a competitor. He hangs in there. He has not had a very good day, but he made a big throw there.
A 38-yard gain on 3rd and 10 from the 1. Petty keeps it after faking the give to Watson.
Nice call.
Moves it out to the 49-yard line.
You know why that's a nice call by Skip Holtz? Because Arkansas is thinking, okay, if Jenkins is in the game, he's going to keep. With Petty, they're going to give it to Watson. Not so fast. Petty keeps it and turns in a good play. Well executed.
And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score. Arkansas leading 10-7. We'll return to Little Rock right after this message and a word from your local station. War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock opened in September of 1948. The Razorbacks played their first game here that afternoon defeated Abilene Christian 40-6. Not as close as this one on second down as we open the fourth quarter. South Carolina with a 1-yard plunge and perhaps the 1st and 10. We welcome you back to Little Rock, Arkansas, War Memorial Stadium. Vern Lundquist along with Todd Blackledge, and pretty good one.
It's a very good one, and I tell you, Phil Petty shows me a lot of something. I mean, coming before that play, 40 yards passing on 6 of 21. He gets 38 on that big third down conversion, throwing out of his own end zone. He's a leader, he's mature, he's got poise, and he made a huge play for his team.
Well, we go back to the field of play. 1st and 10 at the 50. Handoff, Watson. Sasha Lancaster, who plays both at fullback and at defensive end, makes the tackle, number 46. War Memorial Stadium, site of the Powder River play in 1954. Ole Miss winning it, or rather Arkansas winning it 6-0. 75 defeated the Aggies. Andre Ware shootout, 45-39. In 1991, a 14-13 game against Texas, the final Southwest Conference.
Vern, you see all these guys right on the line of scrimmage. If Andrew Pinnock or Derek Watson can break through the initial line, there's a lot of green grass in front of them.
They find Brian Scott left side. He slips a tackle, and it's another South Carolina 1st down at the 36-yard line. Gain of 10. Let's go back once again and check in with Timmy B.
All right, Vernon, Todd, you know, Lou Holtz may spread it around a little bit formation-wise. Nebraska still getting it done the old-fashioned way. A blowout of Baylor. What's significant? They had 4, count them, 4 over 100 yards in rushing. Davies, Crouch, Diedrich, and Collins. Last time that happened, 1984 Army against Montana. 641 total yards.
Huskers are happy.
Huskers are getting better.
1st down at the 36, a 10-7 game, early fourth quarter. Petty. Good protection. Tipped. Hamlin almost got the pick.
Reading the quarterback the whole way. Lined up in more of a linebacker position. He wasn't blitzing that time, and so he focused in on Phil Petty. Petty thought he had a completion, and Hamlin right there in the throwing lane. Nice play by the sophomore.
Thought he had it.
Yep.
2nd and 10.
Phil Petty's doing a nice job with the noise, communicating the plays to his wide receiver.
Flag is down. Brian Scott, and Hamlin is there to make the tackle. Now we'll check the infraction that was called on the far side of the field. 12:58 to go. Well, this has been a dandy. Undefeated South Carolina, ranked 9th in the country, coming in, falling behind Arkansas in the first quarter. A field goal is 3-0. It was the halftime score. Corey Jenkins came on, hit a big 3rd down play, and then rambled 41 yards on a quarterback keeper. The illegal formation against South Carolina. That gave South Carolina a 7-3 lead, but then a 16-play drive that included 2 4th-down conversions for 1st downs. And the Razorbacks came back. Richard Smith caught a touchdown pass, and that's where we stand now, 10-7. And we should also mention, if you missed it, a huge 3rd-down conversion by South Carolina. They had a 3rd and 10 at their own 1, and Petty found Scott for a 38-yard gain. Now 2nd down and 15. Here's Petty. They're blitzing. He goes across the right side, and it's incomplete, intended for Andre Gause, a freshman from Conway, South Carolina.
Lawrence Richardson, the sophomore out of Galveston, Texas, played at Ball High School on the coverage here. He funnels him inside. He's got free safety help, and then does a nice job of just cutting off the receiver to the football. Phil Petty getting pressure from Kurt Davis. Big 3rd down play now.
3rd and 15. 4 wide receiver set again, and Pinnock is in the backfield. Scott and Brewer, the inside receivers. Here comes the blitz. They got Petty, but he escapes it, pulls up, and finds his receiver, Willis Ham. How about that? Tony Bua had him and lost him.
That's twice we've seen it. One, we saw Corey Jenkins elude Ken Hamlin. This time, Phil Petty. Tony Bua is unblocked, normally a very sure tackler, but he goes up too high, and Petty's able to shake him off. He doesn't get the first down, but he moves him a little bit closer. And remember, Vern, the penalty, the 9th penalty against South Carolina. This is the least penalized team in the conference, but that set him back at 3rd and 15. Now at 4th down, they're going to go for it.
4th and 7 in a 10-7 game. At the 33-yard line would have been a 50-yard field goal attempt.
Arkansas showing zone here, Vern.
See if they rush 3. They're bringing 5. And a flag is called.
Play clock. Play clock got him. That's the 10th penalty now on South Carolina, and now they'll punt. And this isn't so bad. This is a chance to pin them back. There's the play clock.
Phillies 5 yards from the previous spot. Remains 4th down.
Credit that one to the crowd here at War Memorial. Just very hard to communicate. It's not a big stadium, but it's very loud.
53,000 here. Sellout crowd, but not all the seats are full for what was forecast as a rainy day. Here's Tyler Dean.
Good punt.
Sure is. Excellent. Out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Lou Holtz, his team came in here 2 years ago, got hammered 48-14. It's a 10-7 game now. Back in Little Rock, 12-12 to go. 10-7 Arkansas. They've got a first down at their own 10-yard line.
Very important for Zach Clark and Arkansas to protect the football here. They have not turned it over yet today.
Fred Talley cuts back to his right. Nice play on first down. Out to the 15-yard line. Well, let's go back to our New York studios once again. Here's Tim Brando.
Well, Lou Holtz fans obviously like to keep up with Notre Dame. So does West Virginia like to keep up with Notre Dame, but they can't keep up with Tony Fisher. Watch right here. He's going to pull his hamstring en route to this 55-yard run that would put the game away against the Mountaineers. 34-24, Fighting Irish get it done.
Winning at home after an 0-3 start. 2nd down and 5 here. Zach Clark. Marcellus Poitras, the extra tight end, comes to the left side. And he will provide the lead block for Talley. But Talley is saddled up and ridden down at the 17. Well, we mentioned the 1999 game here. They faced each other in Little Rock. It was Lou Holtz's first season in South Carolina. Arkansas jumped out to a 24-0 first quarter lead. Quarterback Clint Sterner threw 3 touchdown passes, and the Razorbacks cruised to a 48-14 victory. And Lou Holtz with a cold handshake for his one-time graduate assistant and former player Houston Nutt at the end of the game. Here's Matt Jones in a quarterback.
Got the first down.
Yes, he did.
Nice decision by the youngster to put it down and run the football. You don't see your receiver right away. Protect the ball and run for the first down. This is a good-looking athlete. Again, 6'6", 215 pounds, 4.4 speed. Watch him protect the football when he knows he's going to run it. Heads-up play.
And a first down. He stays in the ball game now. Matt Jones out of Fort Smith did not play in the first 3 games of the season. This is his 3rd in succession. He'll run it again. How about that?
Yep.
Gain of 7.
It shows you his speed and his strength because he gets hit a couple times here. He gets popped, but he's not going down on the first contact. That's Langston Moore, the nose guard that hit him and didn't knock him down. I mentioned turnovers, Vern. That year in '99 when Arkansas won, South Carolina had 5 turnovers. So far they have 2 today. Arkansas none.
This time the handoff goes to Fred Talley, but nobody fooled. No gain. It'll be 3rd down. And we're under 10 minutes remaining. Yeah, we mentioned that Houston Nutt, who grew up here in Little Rock, started his athletic career at the University of Arkansas. He was actually the last high school athlete signed by Frank Broyles, then played 1 year with Lou Holtz came in. They ran the veer. Holtz decided to make Ron Calcagney his starting quarterback. And then the next year, Kevin Stanlin came in, and Houston Nutt decided to transfer to Oklahoma State, where he completed his collegiate career.
Vern, they're going to do this again now. They're trying to milk the clock. There's 9 minutes and 10 seconds left. And you see Matt Jones right here. He's going to tell the ref when it gets to 1, call timeout. So it's a big third down play, and they want to use as much clock as they possibly can.
They call their second timeout. 1 left for Arkansas.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot, Samsung, Sonic, and by Exxon and Mobil.
9:06 to go. Fourth quarter of play. 3rd and 4. DeCorey Birmingham is on the field for Arkansas, and Matt Jones remains at quarterback. Option play. Jones dives, got it. 1st and 10.
Great second effort, Vern. And this youngster is showing some poise on big plays. He converted a 4th down play on their touchdown drive. This, a huge 3rd and 4 play. He's keeping it all the way, and watch him lunge forward to get the 1st down. DeAndre Island had the tackle, but Jones able to spring forward for the 1st down.
7 carries, 37 yards, almost every one of them critical in this game. 1st and 10 if you're a Razorback fan, that is.
See what Zach Clark's doing? He's milking the clock. Houston Nutt is trying to use as much clock as he can, but still run plays.
Here's Clark with a handoff to Fred Talley, his 33rd carry of the ball game. That represents a career high for the junior. And here's Matt Jones.
I talked to Houston yesterday during their walkthrough, and I asked him, because when I watched film of South Carolina, the thing that hurt their defense more than anything was Tyler Watts running the football in the Alabama game. And I asked him, do you have anything for one of your quarterbacks to run the football, a little package? He said, yeah, we got something with Matt Jones. It didn't start out good the first couple times they used it, but here in the second half, it's been extremely effective.
On 2nd down, they run out of the gun. Play fake. Jones again eludes a tackle. Picks up a couple to the 42-yard line. Gain 3, actually. Kalimba Edwards and Jermaine Lemon with the stop. Now, elsewhere in the SEC, a thriller down in Oxford. Ole Miss comes from behind and nips Alabama. LSU, Kentucky tonight. Georgia defeated Vanderbilt in Nashville. And Troy State leading Mississippi State 21-9. Big win tonight, Florida at Auburn.
Troy State is trying to make the jump to 1A, and they're playing all kinds of big-time teams. They played Miami. They're playing everybody tough today. They're winning.
3rd and 4, option. It's going to be 4th down.
Fans booing a little bit here, but Houston Nutt is playing the advantage right now that his defense is playing great football. They were fooled on the one drive by Corey Jenkins. They missed a couple tackles, but for the most part, he's trying to bleed the clock, get a good punt here, and let his defense win the football game for him. The good thing for the defense is that this was a decent drive. It allowed them to rest on the sidelines, so they should be okay to come on the field now.
6:34 to go. Richie Butler. There's the snap, and the punt is away. It's a dandy. This may be too far. It goes into the end zone on the fly. A 57-yard punt. Touchback. It comes out to the 20. Nailed it. 6:23 to go. 10-7. Hogs. All right, Tim, thank you. 10-7 Arkansas trying to hand South Carolina the Gamecocks' first defeat of the year. From the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, Phil Petty, the quarterback. Draw play, Derek Watson breaks a tackle and then is knocked down at the 27, perhaps the 28-yard line. Nice first down play for the Gamecocks. Thursday on CBS. If you thought the new Survivor Africa wasn't wilder and more treacherous than anything you've ever seen before, wait until you see what happens next. An all-new Survivor Thursday at 8 o'clock, 7 Central on CBS. Pretty common numbers for Phil Petty for the day. 9 of 26.
And you know who has been really quiet is Ryan Brewer right here. And he's a playmaker for this team. He's been quiet.
Second down and 2.
Wow.
They stuffed Derek Watson on second down. And the charge was led by Raymond House with help from Carlos Hall.
Well, this first play you're going to see kind of indicates the effort that Carlos Hall was going to give all day today. Loses his helmet. He has played very well. And I think the rest of the defense has reacted and responded to the effort that he's given. Carlos Hall, just by playing hard, has lifted the rest of his defensive teammates in the ball game today.
Officially credited with 5 tackles, straight T formation on third down. Give it to Pinnock, and he breaks through for a 1st and 10, South Carolina at the 32-yard line.
The problem for Arkansas in a play like that is that Pinnock weighs more than any of the guys they got there in the middle. I mean, he is a big load, and he's been very quiet today. I'm a little surprised by that because I thought he would be more of a factor running against this Arkansas defense today.
1st and 10, South Carolina with 4:50 remaining. Petty has it. 4-man rush, deep left side, diving try.
I think the ball hit the ground. I think it's a good call. The back judge is coming in to make the call, and I think it's a good one. Trying to go to Brian Scott. He's been the go-to guy. And the ball did hit the ground. Eddie Jackson on coverage. A very nice call. And good defense by Eddie Jackson.
2nd and 10.
I'm impressed by these Arkansas corners, Vern. They are really hard to get away from.
Jackson, Lawrence Richardson. He wears number 1. Here comes the blitz. Screen pass. Watson. You said they might be susceptible to it. Here's Derek Watson hauled down across midfield at the 47-yard line, a gain of 21.
Yeah, great call by Skip Holtz. Great call because when you blitz and when you try to go after the quarterback, sometimes a screen can be really hurtful because you lose track of the guy who's covering the back. Well executed, well set up, and Derek Watson makes it happen. Excellent call by Skip Holtz against the blitz.
1st and 10 at the 47 with 4:15 to go. Here's Petty, quarterback keeper. Across the 45 and down to the 44-yard line. They might give him the 43 when the spot is made.
You know, the thing that Skip Holtz has going for him right now, Vern, is that it's 4 minutes left in the game, and all he really needs is a field goal. He doesn't have to score a touchdown here. He can be very patient with his play calling. He can still run the football. It's not a duress situation where he has to get a touchdown on this drive. A field goal would tie the game at 10.
2nd down, 7. Bad snap and a fumble recovered, or the snap recovered by Andrew Pinnock.
You know, I don't know if Larrell Johnson knew the quarterback was in the shotgun or not. Watch this ball come up. Either that or he just totally lost control of the football. Watch the snap here. Yeah, he just lost control of it. The ball never got off the ground, and that is a wasted play for South Carolina. What a huge break for Arkansas.
3rd and 10. Razorbacks show blitz. They're coming. Petty goes deep. Man coverage left side. Another huge catch. Brian Scott again.
Vern, they picked on the freshman, Ahmad Carroll, number 8. Watch him go man-to-man and never find the football. He's man for man. Brian Scott sees the ball all the way, and by the time Ahmad Carroll gets into the play, the ball is already caught. Plus, it's 5'11", working against 6'3". Brian Scott, a much taller receiver, goes up and gets the football on another huge 3rd down conversion.
That's a gain of 30 and a 1st down at the 17-yard line. Again, it's the option run. as Petty comes right side and Raymond House is up on his back. And the tackle made at the 15-yard line. Sasha Lancaster, number 46. 2:30 to go in this one. South Carolina has 2 timeouts remaining.
And Vern, Carlos Hall is on the sidelines. He has played a monster game for Arkansas, but he has been on the sideline for the last 3 or 4 plays. And that is going to have an effect on Arkansas. Justin Scott is replacing him, number 90.
3 wide receivers on 2nd down and 9 with 2:04 to go. Petty changing the play. Gets it snapped. Pinnock stiffened by Jermaine Petty at the middle. He gets to the 10-yard line. Now let's take a look at the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Look at the difference in yardage from the first quarter on. South Carolina particularly.
Nice adjustments by Lou Holtz and his staff. They first started with Corey Jenkins to start the 3rd quarter. 1:24 left. Now South Carolina milking the clock a little bit.
3rd and 3. Oh, the right tackle moved.
Another penalty on South Carolina, the least penalized team in the conference, their 11th penalty. This is Melvin Page, the right tackle. He's a veteran starter. You wouldn't expect this from one of your veterans, but he pulled out early, and now what a critical penalty, Vern. 3rd down and 3 goes to 3rd and 8. Much different situation than 3rd and 3.
South Carolina has turned it over twice and have been penalized 11 times. 3rd and 8 from the 15.
If I'm Arkansas, I'm looking to help on wherever Brian Scott is. He's down at the bottom of the formation. Ahmad Carroll's on him. I'd give help to Ahmad Carroll.
Here's Petty. Here comes the blitz. He goes right side for Scott. Diving try up in the air. No good. 4th down.
Nice job by Ahmad Carroll getting his hands on the receiver. Again, it's a mismatch height, but he gets his hands on him and then runs him out of bounds. That's excellent play by Ahmad Carroll. He had safety help coming over the top, but it was well played by Carroll.
Field goal for the tie. Daniel Weaver, a sophomore from North Myrtle Beach. He is 6 of 7 for the year. Blocked!
Carlos Hall. He was out for a few plays, Vern. He comes back in and blocks the kick. What a game by the senior from Mariana. Take a look. Carlos Hall right here. 55 goes straight up in the air and gets both hands on the football. He was out for 3 or 4 plays. He comes back in and makes the play of the game for the Razorbacks.
Now Arkansas will try and run out the clock. South Carolina has 2 timeouts left. See if they choose to use one here. They do. 41 seconds left. Time now for the Exxon and Mobil scoring recap. Field goal from 21 yards out was countered by a Corey Jenkins 41-yard run. And then Richard Smith puts Arkansas back on top 10-7 with a huge play. And Carlos Hall just completed the biggest play of them all.
Vern, we talked about his physical skills. 4.5 speed. Bench presses over 415 pounds and a 42-inch vertical leap. And he used every bit of it on that play. What a game by Carlos Hall. He rose to the occasion for Houston Nutt's team today. What a huge win for Arkansas.
Houston Nutt undefeated in this stadium.
Right.
And he is about to go 11-0 here. South Carolina has used its last timeout. Houston Nutt. Lou Holtz. Coach, teacher. Arkansas by 3. Houston Nutt is in his 4th year as the head coach of the Razorbacks. His dad, Houston Sr., basketball coach, Arkansas School for the Deaf, only 2 miles from this stadium. And Zach Clark takes a knee, flags are gone.
Yeah, they got a penalty. They drew him off sides. This is going to move it out 5 yards, and they'll repeat 3rd down. You see the quarterback coach telling him to take a knee on this play.
Well, we talked about the significance of this game for a Razorback team that was 2-3 with wins over UNLV and Weber State.
This will be their first win in the conference. They've got a week off next week.
Please put 2 seconds back on the clock. Should be 36 seconds on the clock.
They have a home game against Auburn on October 27th. And so, I mean, you talk about some inspiration and motivation to take into the second half of the season. It couldn't be any better for Houston Nutt in Arkansas right now. And think about who they lost to. A close game to Tennessee. They lost to Alabama. They lost a good game to Georgia.
And there is the knee taken.
Just depends on when they respot it and when the play clock stops. They're not going to have to run another play. It's under 25 seconds, and Arkansas is going to win the football game.
Houston Nutt played for and coached under Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz comes back to Arkansas, a state in which he coached with such distinction for 7 years, loses for the 2nd time.
Good job.
And the Gamecocks lose their first of the year. The Arkansas Razorbacks go to 3-3. And the blocked kick from Carlos Hall, the biggest play of the game.
And he had a great game, Vern. He kind of led this defense. The rest of the defense fed off of it, and then he came up with the play to win the football game for Arkansas. An outstanding effort today by Carlos Hall.
And let's go down to Jill Arrington, who is with Houston Nutt and the Army player of the game, Carlos Hall. Jill?
Coach Nutt, I know you're excited. You keep that undefeated status here at War Memorial Stadium at home in Little Rock.
I tell you, there's magic in this building right here, but our players played so hard. Our coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. They did an awesome job. Guys like that guy right there, Carlos Hall, blocking that field goal was awesome.
That's right. And Carlos, I want to know how you got so high up in the air to block that unbelievable kick.
I tell you what's my last game in Little Rock, man. I never lost in Little Rock. My D-line got a good push, I just went behind and jumped.
What does this win do for your confidence, your team's motivation as you head into an off week? You got some time to prepare. What does this win do?
It's a new season. It's a brand new season now. It kickstarts us. We have an off week next week, go back to work, and now our guys got some confidence finally after working so hard that we can win. So it's an awesome feeling.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy the win, both of you. Back to you guys.
All right, Jill, thank you. This was a dandy. 10-7. Razorbacks hand South Carolina Gamecocks their first defeat of 2001. The big play by Carlos Hall, a blocked field goal. He was also stellar on defense throughout. For Todd Blackledge and Jill Arrington, I'm Vern Lundquist saying goodbye from Little Rock. Tim Brando back when we return.